Hello, good afternoon, everyone. I guess it's afternoon for almost all of us in the US. I'm Camps Narayan. I'm a senior product manager at SnapLogic. And with our team of minions, been busy building out our API management capabilities. Of minions. At SnapLogic, we value the reusability of components and services, or APIs as we call them. And over the past year, we have added and made some significant improvements to our API management solution, which helps companies and customers like you take advantage of these services that provide better time to market and also provide the necessary security and governance they need with our robust API management solution. So to talk more in detail about how SnapLogic API management solution helped Boston University with their unique project, I invite Carmine Garnucci, our SnapLogic MVP, to present on stage. Carmen?
Hello. Thank you, Cams. Yeah, happy to be talking about API Manager and talking about how we are leveraging the platform here at Boston University. So we'll get into the slides here. Just do a quick introduction. I'm Carmine Granucci, pronouns he, his, him. I am the Assistant Director of Integration over at Boston University in their IS&T group. That's their central IT group. And just to tell you a little bit about BU, the sort of size and scale of the university, we have over 35,000 students from more than 130 countries. We have a little more than 10,000 faculty and staff, over 17 schools and colleges, and more than 300 programs of study. We have 3 Boston area campuses and then several campuses abroad. BU has a pretty extensive study abroad program with campuses in London, Paris, Sydney, and other places around the world. And as of this year, the endowment for the university is $3.35 billion. So not too bad of an endowment for a large school like BU. Talk a little bit about integration at BU. So our team provides solutions for the campus-wide data and application integration. We have about a team of 12 folks that includes technical managers that manage the platform, and then developers. We also have an architect and a functional analyst to help us along the way as we build out the integrations for our community. And we have there's probably about 400 folks in our overall central IT group doing all different things. So I like to say with our team, we are literally in the middle of everything, being the integration team. So our overall strategy has gone to a cloud first strategy. So a lot of what we look for as we solution new applications, solve problems, we're looking at either SaaS or infrastructure that is in the cloud. And with the integrations that we have about 150 different data and application integrations that sort of go over an entire set of all sorts of different systems. We have our ERP, which is SAP. We use Salesforce for our recruitment and admissions process. We have Blackboard as our learning management system. We use Blackbaud for fundraising. We're in the midst of a huge conversion of our student information system. As of right now, we have a older database natural mainframe system that has lasted probably about 30-something years for the university. We are converting that, like I said, in the midst of a huge project to convert it to campus solutions. And so again, that 150 data integrations is going to jump up pretty quickly with the stuff we are doing, taking out of the mainframe and bringing it out into either third-party solutions or other applications. And then we have a whole bunch of various homegrown applications that we integrate with as well. So a lot of either off-the-shelf products that other units on campus are using, or even some homegrown stuff that has been developed. So we're really have a diverse set of things that we integrate with, and so our team is constantly learning new things about the various endpoints that we move data back and forth to. Just to share a bit about our vision, our integration vision. Ideally, we're looking to support the agility in moving to new applications and infrastructure as our landscape evolves. We're really focused on driving that reuse and integration, increased efficiency by using a best-in-class platform, SnapLogic, using proven integration patterns like the canonical schema patterns, common models, etc. Leveraging modern architectural practices, like I said, going cloud first, using APIs, microservices, and then as we go along, sort of modernizing the way we do integration, we still have to maintain all the stuff the legacy stuff, our various ETL and file moving integrations that we have. But part of what we're trying to do is, as either new solutions come up or as we have time, proactively going back and modernizing those integrations with the SnapLogic platform. And really our big vision, one of the things about large universities is that IT groups tend to be somewhat disparate. There's a lot of larger units on campus, or the schools or colleges will have their own IT shop and do a lot of their own in-house development for their schools. And so what we want to do is support them as well by enabling them to be citizen integrators and sort of create self-service integration. So that way, from a security standpoint, from leveraging the source of truth of the data that they want to have access to, we can provide that service to the community overall. And so empowering developers, not even just internally to our group, but also empowering those other schools to be integrators, be citizen integrators with the data that we have. And just sort of visualizing our vision, right now, we are in the process of going from the left to the right here. We have a multitude of various integrations, on-prem integrations that support all the operations and services that the university does. And what we're really trying to do is standardize all that, again, going with that cloud first strategy, building that middle layer so that we have this sort of, we can support the future of our community as we evolve, as we move towards more cloud solutions. So really creating that layer right in the middle and leveraging SnapLogic to help do that, working with all those various cloud systems, and then, at the same time supporting those legacy things and anything else that we need to keep on campus. And so, we're here to talk about API management, how we're using it. It is very much aligned with our vision of creating common services to meet those needs of the community. What I think is great about the API manager is, provides security and controls to our pipelines and services. And really what we're looking to, as we move forward using it, really that discovery and documentation, a lot of the automation of creating those API docs, and again, facilitating building those citizen integrators, making it easy for folks to understand those services we're providing. And just to give a little context about our SnapLogic infrastructure, we have both the ground and cloud plexes. The ground plex, of course, we use to leverage access to those restricted use, any restricted use information, and then use that to channel information up to the cloud plexes, so that we can seamlessly have access to that information for the integrations that we do support. And really, API Manager really helps us do that effectively, because one of the things I think we take advantage of, part of the API Manager, is the feed master, which allows us to serve all the requests, and it allows us to have all those requests come from the cloud. So we have that simple setup for folks to call one place, and helps bridge that ability to have those pipelines move data both between our ground and cloud. And really, it helps distribute the load and supports the low latency processing. So, really having that load balancing and managing the access through that really helps us, I think, be effective in the way we provide integration to the community. And then also with the API Manager, it's using the policies functionality really helps us, with the API key authenticator. We can assign individual keys per client. So either the vendors that we work with, or potentially, like, again, internal developers or internal those other developers on campus, providing them keys for access to the services and data. And then, of course, we can do that, we can authorize by the role, we can control what those keys have access to. So authorize it by the role. And then really the client throttling, it really helps us make sure we're controlling how the data is moving in and out. We're not, putting any unnecessary demands on applications or services that we're providing. So really leveraging those components of the policy function of the API management has been very effective in the reliability of the services that we do provide to the community. And so I wanted to sort of take a moment to sort of use a use case of how we implemented API Manager successfully in the community. And one of the things our team, I think, because of the SnapLogic platform, given the pandemic over the past almost 2 years now, we had to pivot a lot with bringing things online, supporting the protocols and processes around the safety and testing of the students and staff and faculty of BU. And one thing that I wanted to highlight was this density mapping project we did. The university was came up with the idea to sort of, as part of the protocols, set limits on building capacity and stuff. And so we were able to work with the collaborate with several teams in the community to help build this application to show density of the buildings. And it was pretty clever using data coming from the Wi-Fi from the networking team, showing the devices connected to Wi-Fi. We could tell what students or staff or faculty were logged into the various access points within buildings, and that could give us a good estimate of how many people were in the building. So this is just a little screenshot of the demonstration. As you can see, students can log in. That way, a student can say, oh, well, I don't, if they're, particularly if it's a cold Boston day, if students didn't want to have to go down to the library and realize that they couldn't get in during, they can, before they even leave their dorm, they can see, oh, well, it's at capacity. I'll wait until that goes down. So like I said, part of the COVID response, we created the service that builds, that gets building information from the Wi-Fi connections. We extract the data, the data is extracted through this mapping application. It calls our service every 2 minutes. We update the population of every building on campus. We leverage the feed master to serve the data to the mapping application, as well as the API key authenticator, the authorized by role, and throttling policies. A part of this too is that with this this mapping example here, there's a public view of the mapping, so what the screenshot I just showed, but there's also an administrative view where folks who are monitoring the policies and monitoring the building capacities have a different, a little bit more detail on the data of who is in those buildings, and so we were managing that by using the authorized by role. So different keys for that administrative panel and the public panel allows access to the different data. and that has helped us with this mapping tool. And we've had several issues with the provider calling the service more than 2 minutes, but then that throttling helps keep everyone honest and keeps them to the agreed frequency. So that also doesn't prevent an inadvertent denial of service attack. It allows us to throttle those connections to make sure that they're, like I said, keeping them honest, making sure it's only going every 2 minutes. And so what we're looking to do in the future with the API management, certainly, as I mentioned, that citizen integrator is part of our vision. Really leveraging the developer portal to help facilitate that documentation and self-service for our developer community, and like I mentioned, not just only our internal developers in our IT group, but those other developers around the campus. So really going with the vision of the citizen integrators. The other thing we're looking as we go through this project, particularly this student information system renewal, is the two-legged OAuth. So allowing for that to make it easier for authentication, for self-service for our developers, and then utilizing service first methods for a pipeline configuration. So we want to use the existing legacy services Swagger to generate framework for pipelines, and it allows minimal change for clients using those legacy services. Because what we really wanted to avoid is putting extra work on folks. Obviously, when you try to facilitate change management, can always be difficult, and so we want to make it easier for folks to buy into our integration vision. And so we wanted API Manager is going to help us leverage tools to make it a little bit easier for those folks that are using legacy systems or development to get them bought into to doing that. And we can do that by keeping things simple, keeping a simple URL. And I think that that's really again where the platform has been helping us with getting folks bought into our vision. So I can go a little bit more. I don't know if there's any questions folks have. I can talk a little bit more about some more of our plans. Cams, I'm not sure.
Yeah, there's one question there from Richard, where he says BU has 150 integrations you maintain. That's there on the screen. It's increasing.
Oh, so how many FTEs are devoted to maintaining these integrations? Do you have enough? Too few? We started out as a pretty small team. When I came into the role about 4.5 years ago is when the university just decided to go with SnapLogic. So part of what I had to do in the role was build the team, scale the team, understand the community needs. And so initially we were a small scrappy team that sort of worked in building some good practices around using the platform. But as a student information system renewal came up, we were like, well, I think we identified probably about 130 different integrations that would need to be modernized, updated, fixed for this renewal. That's in addition to where we scaled so far. And so I think what I had to do, and what we did, is really build a case to say, hey, this is going to be important. We're going to this. We're going to need the folks to help build out this point. And like I said, I think at the beginning, it was we're in the middle of all this, and data is so important. Like, we're going to need folks to help do this. So we really worked to build the case of the importance of integration. So we were able to scale up the team to 12 folks. And like I mentioned, adding on those sort of support structures as well. We have our own integration architect that helps us as things are solutioned. They work closely with our architecture team to help define how we do those integrations going forward. So when they solution, they're drawing their boxes and lines. We take that line and we say, all right, this is how we're going to do this going forward. We're going to leverage our common models for this with the platform. So that has helped certainly facilitated that buy-in for that. But do we have? I think what's happened because of that, and I think given the way we have been able to pivot and move these integrations quickly, the leadership of the university has realized like how important this stuff is. So as we started making the case, it wasn't too hard to get that buy-in to say, hey, this is important. So I think as we move forward, we definitely see the need to scale the team more, given the needs of the data integration needs of the community, as well as the work ahead of us. So we right now have, like I said, we have a team of 12. We are supplementing a few folks from consultancies, but I think I envision those once the folks that we have backfilling through a consultancy will eventually become full-time roles.
Yeah. So one question, Carmen, that I had was, so you have your architecture. You're kind of moving to a more modernized stack, as you kind of explained. How flexible has the SnapLogic API management solution been to extend this capability to support your architecture and integration needs as you see it now, as in the future? How do you envision that kind of being flexible and helping you out?
I think we've managed to support a lot of our cases so far, but I mean, and I think it really ties back to that vision of that citizen integrator, that self-serving, community. So I really think as we architect new solutions, we are thinking about that data. We're thinking about how is this going to be used? Is this something that we're going to, as projects come along, we are thinking about, is this something other services, other applications are going to need? And so I think leveraging the API manager helps us facilitate building those services we can reuse and making it accessible to the community. And then, like I said, leveraging some of those that functionality of the API manager to really get that buy-in from our internal folks and those folks out in the greater community.
Yeah, I think there's one more question from the group, which is, have you had any integration that connected to any analytics snaps or social media snaps? And if you have, what is your experience with the performance and integration of those snaps?
Have we had any? That's a good question. Certainly, we're not leveraging any of the social media stuff yet. We haven't come across a project yet that has asked for that. But as far as analytics, we do our own internal tracking of some of the integrations we have, but I don't think I can't think of a case right now where we are leveraging it for like sending it to like integrating it with a Power BI, like pulling data that goes into some sort of business intelligence platform. We haven't. I fully expect maybe at some point we will probably be asked for that, because one of the things right now, our legacy stuff, is we do have an academic data warehouse where a lot of that data from that older mainframe is going out. We haven't tackled the challenge yet of that, because it's kind of like the secret sauce of like how the university does analytics on how students and stuff are. So it's very like tightly wound into the ETL layer. However, as part of this SIS renewal thing, they have identified this as something they really would like to modernize. So I think it's a really large scale. So I fully anticipate us getting to a point where we are taking some of that that older legacy data and bringing that in using the SnapLogic platform. But I think the discussions are being had because of the success we've had with all the other stuff. So I think the curse is like what I've learned is like, the curse of doing a good job is that they just give you more work to do, right?
Mhm.
So I fully anticipate something happening there.
Yeah. So just for Vishal here, so one of the things that API management solution does provide is API insights and reporting. So, if you are looking at any integration that you're creating from using SnapLogic API management solution, you do have the insights into like, what those requests are, responses, errors, and all those things that would kind of help you monitor, scale your services in the future. And there's one more question from the uh, audience here, which is after integrations are built, how much effort is required to maintain those on an ongoing basis?
Um, I think we have a pretty effective service management process where we are, the things that we do deploy, we have support for. What we try to do with the way we develop is when we look at an integration, we really want to sort of separate out the endpoints and really just be that middle layer where we're bringing information from one system to another. And I think what has happened in the past with a lot of our legacy integrations in ETL, a lot of that business logic and stuff goes right into the middle, and so that tends to cause more of an operational support because folks will go to the integration team and say, hey, this integration is not working because it's not doing the logic, or we need to change it or whatever. So what we try to do as we go forward, what we try to do is separate that out and really work with the SMEs on either end, so that like if we are taking data and bringing it to another system, if for some reason we can't connect, we are notifying those users. So we're sort of proactively trying to prevent a lot of those operational things from happening by in some ways automating automating that process. So I think as we look at our the incidents and requests that come into our team from the integrations that we do support, it's very low because because a lot of those operational problems exist because of the endpoints not responding properly. And so we like I said, we've sort of baked in notifying those the owners or the overall like service owner of that whole service that we are in the middle of if there are problems. And I think that has been effective in addressing those operational concerns and keeping that maintenance pretty low. And again, SnapLogic has helped us. The platform itself has helped us keep that operational load on our team pretty low, so we can just deploy and then sort of almost set it and forget it. But yeah, again, it's been pretty low since we've been deploying integrations with the platform.
Can't see any other questions there. So yeah, almost up on time too. We have about 3 minutes left. Yeah, I think to wrap up, I'd like to thank Carmine for his time today and BU for their partnership. They have been, wonderful to work with as we started building out our API management solution. We continue to look forward to their valuable feedback and support as we try to create, the product and solution that's meaningful and helpful for our customers. And to everyone in the audience, I hope you enjoyed all the sessions. And before you go, if you want to see the SnapLogic API management solution live, you can check out the APIM demo workshop, which is going to start in about 15 minutes after a short break. There are also other great demo workshops that are led by our SnapLogic product experts and partner sessions that will be starting also around 1:30 p.m. Pacific time. So, if you're interested, I strongly encourage you to attend these sessions. Otherwise, thank you everyone for the opportunity, and thank you again, Carmine. Hope you
Thank
all
you
have
for
a
having me.
rest of the day.